Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Previously on Butterfly
I
Story.
called it out. So he was like, okay, good. Put it in there. He told me his name, and then he walked me to the car, and then he put my groceries up. He didn't let me carry no bags. My mom was there acting a fool. She ran down the aisle like, Gwen, they got chicken for $4. Come hurry up, get you. Like, and I was like, Mom, like, what you like? It was crazy, but he handled that well. He was like, oh, that's Mom. Hey, Mom. Like, this dude was charming. He is charming. He is charming. So he walked me to the car, and when I popped my trunk, I was in my sister's car, but I drive my car sometimes. So it had skates in there, and he was like, Dad, so you a roller? He said, let me show you something. He took me his car, popped the trunk. He got his skates right there. So now everything is like adding up. It's looking too green lightish.
She said green lighted.
We gotta start.
Hey, Gwen.
Hello.
So last time we talked, we were wrapping up that show, if you will, on Instagram that we call Butterfly Story, titled "I Give the Ring Back." A story that looked like the perfect love story, but in the spirit world, it was a counterfeit that was sent to try to destroy you. But what the enemy sent for evil, God used for your good, right?
Yeah.
So, what would you say? Would you say you're a private person or an open and public person?
I'm private. Like my private life is private, but who I am is probably public.
Okay. So, how does a private person decide to share such intimate story publicly to a stranger like myself?
It's not really like I'm specifically sharing it with you.
Mm-hmm.
It is just the way it's supposed to happen. It is just the way it happened. And the way it happened to me is because it's like God told me so.
Right.
You know, it's like being obedient because when I wouldn't have done it. I mean, that's not typically what I do. I don't talk to people about my life that then hairstyles normally they talk to me about theirs. So just got it.
Okay. So, walk me through then your emotions after the last episode of that story.
The last episode, last time we spoke about that particular incident, the last episode, okay, I remember being over at the mirror and I felt relief. I felt light. I felt grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why relief?
I don't know. It was like a rush of, I could imagine it. It's like when you maybe heavier and then you lose weight
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't know how heavy you were until you lost the weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it was that. That was
Okay.
it.
Why grateful?
Grateful because I felt relief.
Okay.
I felt good. I had threw up. That's what you got. You throw up.
Yeah.
Feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So do you think that because it was a task that God had given you, um, being obedient to that and fulfilling that, that's what brought the relief, or is it the
Being
situation
obedient
itself?
to that, is that what brought relief?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what brought relief. I mean, of course, the situation
Right.
happening, I wasn't sure what it was about to bring.
Right.
It was undiscovered because it was fresh. It was literally like 7 days after.
Did you ever have doubts about sharing it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, because it wasn't presented any other way. Like it was, I was never going to share it. Like it, not in that way, unless there was an encounter that permitted that. You
Yeah.
know, because to me, it will be a testimony
Right.
if needed. You know, it wasn't going to be just like me tell people what happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't a fact. It just wasn't. And when you sent that inbox, I was like, really, God? Can I get a month? Can I get a year? Like, I didn't. But that is how I knew also that this is what I'm supposed to do because it was way too abnormal. It was way too specific.
Right. And the reason why I ask these questions is that I've realized that whenever people see people do their testimony and they think of them brave, what people don't understand about obedience obedience does not necessarily mean I agree with what I have to do.
Right.
It means that I have a level of honor to the person who gave me the command that this is something I must do or else.
Correct.
So I bring that up because we also was, oh my gosh, she's so brave. I can't believe she told her story without them realizing the amount of possible pain,
Yeah.
fight, mental breakdown you probably had
Yeah.
had leading to doing that story. And then it's like, oh well, she seems so comfortable. Not understanding also God always give grace in areas that He asks His children to walk on. And I need people to understand that because it's not as easy as things look.
Absolutely not, because obedience is different than doing what you're supposed to do or responsibility. Obedience has a whole nother level of understanding to it that you don't have yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have an understanding when you're being obedient.
Right.
You almost have zero
Yeah.
understanding of what's to come or why. Or
Right. Right.
what you just, it's like,
right.
okay. It's a child. It's like a childlike thing. And that's why we say be obedient or not be obedient, because that you are as humble as you can be when you do the act that is requiring the obedience.
Literally.
What I love about, life is that I think that's what free will is. You're like,
That's exactly
every
what free
single
will.
choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Can I choose you? Can I choose to say yes?
Every single choice. That's what it is. Like, we really don't understand what it is to trust God until we're put in a situation that requires us to trust God.
To really
we're
trust Him.
obedient, and we have no other choice but for Him to pull through. Like, if you don't show up, God, I may actually die.
Yeah,
and then to
this
do
time,
it anyway.
For real. Yeah, I know I said I thought I was in a more desperate situation before. No, but this time.
Yeah.
And you never ever want to be in that place again.
Never.
You hope to never ever be in that place again, because before you know it, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, but there's something about experiencing something like that is where even when I think the nature in us will always be afraid if something were to ever come as close, but our spirit has this memory where it's like, but remember last time you thought you wouldn't make it, but you trusted me and you did.
Yes.
So you can do it again.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I guess I can do it again.
Yes. I will. I will do it again. I will.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes we still say it like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. I would rather not.
Yes.
But you're God, and
Please
if you
not
say
today. Sometimes you're pleading with Him like, no.
All the time. Yeah. So it's been literally 1 year and 7 months since since the story came out, and surely many people have seen it. What are some of the reactions you received from that video?
1 year and 7 months? Really?
Yeah.
For the most part, from what from what people tell you, I don't want to tell you, good stuff.
Yeah.
Was thank you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
It's like I feel you. I can totally relate. And some of the messages that I received will be from, women who are older than me, who were currently in a situation like that. They ignored their voice, pre-marriage, first year marriage, 7 years, up to where they are still there.
Oh my gosh.
And they have always known,
And
like we know better. We know better. We know when we are in a situation or position or in a choice that God being said, we know, whether it's just for a day, an hour, a year, 2, 3, 4, we know from the very second He said. But that is what makes grace so good.
Yeah.
Because you have literally let me say, nah, I'm not gonna listen to you today.
Yeah.
For 100 days in a row, however long it is.
Yeah.
And you have still provided for me. You have still covered me. You have still, like you have not whooped me. You have not caused me to die.
Yeah.
That is what makes us see grace. And I think He loves us so much by any means necessary, whatever it takes for you to see how much I love you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And I love you. And then He still says it.
Every day.
The same way, even when we're like, well, I love you. But,
Yeah.
you know, I love this more. I love me more.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not he just loved us still. So for me, like that was another situation that just helped me to know that. To know that. And it's still days where I know it and I still do what I want.
Yeah.
I still remember that day. I still remember the feeling of gratitude that I had coming out of any of my obstacles.
Yeah.
I still remember it in the moments where I can say yes and I still say no. But it makes me all the more grateful for his mercy.
Yeah. So, do you think, like, because you said we know,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that people, there's a certain level of spirituality and strength, I guess, or a certain level of closeness with God that allow us to trust what we know to be able to make the right move, I guess, or leave, or
You said there's a level.
so like let's for example, any of these women that said thank you to you who may still be in the situation, and you're saying like for the most part we know like who that person is. I guess the question would be, beside fear, why wouldn't they do the move you did, leave or?
Because they weren't sure.
So yeah, so then do you think it's our level of relationship with Christ that allow us to have confirmation that what they believe about this person to be true so that they can make a move?
Do I think that it is the level of relationship that we may have with Christ
Yeah, which is
that
a
gives
certain,
us the definite confirmation
yeah,
to make the move
yeah,
or not make the move?
yeah.
No, I don't think it's the level of relationship. I think it is just the path, the very specific, intimate path for each person. It is just not time to leave.
Okay.
If it
That makes
hasn't
sense.
happened, it wasn't. It just wasn't time. And that's the part that we have to remember, and he wants us to know, is to always walk by faith.
Yeah.
If you woke up again, don't you feel condemned about you saying no 100 days ago for 10 years or 20 years. Don't feel guilt or shame, because that is the trick of the devil.
That is.
What you should feel is, thank you again, Lord. You know, let your will, your strength, and whatever it is that I need to do be strong enough to where I am still on the path, even when it feels like I'm off. Because God is God, and he doesn't see things in a linear time. To me, he doesn't see it from, all right, you stayed another day, here I am. He don't see it like that. But he knew that our minds would see it like that. So that, again, is all the more reason why grace is so good. Mercy is so good, because our understanding is always wrong.
Yeah.
But what he does make very clear is what his fruits are. What he intended for us to have, which was all good. He never intended for us to have guilt or shame or, I can't believe, I know I'm still doing it, I know. Yeah, you should have a repentful heart. You should. We should always feel that way, just period.
Yeah.
Just because you should know you're not wrong the moment you wake up. You're not going to be perfect today. I don't care how good everything is lined up and how good God has been to us. You are not going to be good. You don't. I'm going to create another opportunity for you to be washed again.
Yeah.
To be washed daily. Where there's something else that's going to happen. And it's not all the time in our circumstance, like who I'm with or where I live or my career or what I look like. It is in the smallest details. The smallest things to where you are mattering. Your purpose is being fulfilled. You are being used. Still, there's not one thing that goes unused, one thought that goes unused. There's not one breath that's not going to work for the greater good of not just you, but all of God's children. The whole world. He knew, he so carefully orchestrated that. But it is, we forget sometimes.
Yeah.
We forget just for a second, okay. Lord Jesus, God, I did it again. He's like, yeah, you look, you ain't smarter than me, you ain't bigger than me, you ain't stronger than me, you haven't done anything that could pause or break my sovereign will. Can you believe that though? In your guilt. Can you believe that in your false sharpness? Can you continue to believe it? Yeah, is it harder? Yeah, because the wages of sin is death. So you're slowly dying. Who I'm creating you to be, yeah, you're dying because you keep choosing sin.
Yeah.
You're choosing to do that, but I'm not dying. I don't decrease. So I love you, so that's why I forewarn you about what sin does.
Right.
It's not that I'm punishing you. It's not me who punishes you. You already gotta like punish yourself. You've already done that when you were born into the world. That's I already said that. You know, it's like I said that at the beginning. Born into sin. Enemy's always gonna come and try to devour you.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm saying it's gonna try to devour your belief, your joy, your peace. That's the devourer I'm talking about. Anything else, yeah, you have a free will to choose to sin or not. But know that that's only you adding a brick in your book bag. You know, that's it. And what's so good about it, you can always stop and take it out. Hand it to me, throw it off. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need it. I'll carry it for you.
Literally.
And because we love him so much, when you get to know him more and more, then we start to make decisions on, okay, I don't want you to carry that. You carry the cross with me. So that is why I won't sin. Not so I won't be condemned, but not so I want to go to heaven. You start to say, no, I love you. You my
love. And I think that's why we had free will, because I don't know that it would be love if we do it because we're trying to go to heaven or because we're afraid, because then that's not love.
Yeah. That's it's like it's just a misunderstanding of what I think love is.
Yeah.
Or what I thought it was. And each day when you think, oh, it's epiphany. His word is so full that every time, even the same word, even if he was to give us one verse, I think it could keep giving.
It does.
It could keep giving. If it was never any other verses but one, that is how full each of his words.
Every day.
Or every day. Like, that's huge to know that you're giving us a whole.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're over and past that situation, but here we are again having another interview. So God has a funny way of blessing obedience, and I've learned that this year that purpose is more than just financial gain and success, but the way we walk out all that God called us to do. And for you, that looks like cleaners or clean her.
Cleaner. Yeah, you just say it fast.
The new name for your hair salon. Why cleaner?
Why cleaner? If I can I just read what when he first gave me the name? When he first gave me the name, I put in my notes. Let's see, cleaner. And I know a lot of people like to overly pronunciate her, you know, but it's just that's why I say it fast. They say it fast, it's like cleaner.
On the next episode of Butterfly Story.
Don't be competitive with one another. That is what we do. We have to fight for one spot. We don't need to do it anymore. We never need to